All right. Testing, testing. Looking good, looking good. What's up, chat? Let me know if everything sounds good. I'll let the room fill up a little bit. How we doing? How we doing, fam? How's everybody doing this Friday? Everybody about to enjoy their weekend? I hope you can as best as possible, especially in this environment of COVID. All right. Thank you, Marcus Moore. All right, good. What's up, Lionel B? What's good? The mic's good. The video streaming good. 2:30 in AK. Man, brother, Luke's Blade, I feel for you, man. I know it's tough. I know firsthand. Living there in Germany for 2 years, man, it's hard to keep up with podcasts and stuff like that. I wish I would have done this earlier, but earlier today, me and my wife, we went to the pool. You know, got a little sun, swam a little bit. And right now, I'm gonna barbecue in about a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour or so, depending when my wife gets hungry. You know, but so I got a little time. I figure, let me just rock out and talk about this topic we about to hit up. If you can, up the mic a tad bit. All right, let me see if this helps. Give me a second. Let me know if this helps. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Are y'all hearing me? Y'all can hear me? Because it was muted on the Discord. Okay. All right. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. I was confused. Man, hold on. That's weird because on the Discord, it was muted, but hold on. Let me see if I could bump this up. All right. Let's see. Go. Let me see. All right. Let me do this. How about now? Sound a little bit better? Let me go back into the chat. Who's the one that wanted the volume up? Everybody else can hear me. You know, Bader. You good? Because if not, it might be. All right. Yeah, pretty clear. Okay, awesome. All right, appreciate it. Cool, man. Thank you for rocking out. Just like always, man, if you guys could hook me up, bless me with a little bit by hitting that like button. And if you could do me a solid, retweet this out or spread it through, you know, all your joints where you like to congregate on social media, you know, whatever you do, Facebook, Instagram. If you could just retweet this, send this link out. As you know, I do this as a hobby. I truly enjoy talking to you folks, providing content. And, you know, I just enjoyed this. And because I'm more concerned about enjoying this with everybody, I don't do the whole Patreon and all that stuff. Nothing wrong with that. For those who make their content a brand, that's awesome. It's fantastic that we live in a world that we can do that stuff. But given that my primary, as you guys know, my primary job is being a Marine, that takes precedence over any other hobby or something I'm doing. And because of that, me doing Patreon or some type of subscription plan, I don't think that's fair or right by you guys if at any point my obligations take priority of that, but yet you guys pay money expecting some content. So, of course, I try to keep the content consistent, as you know. J-Dub in the chat, what up? Myself, J-Dub, Jay Barry, Craig Harris all day. We try to get together every Monday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, to have a consistent podcast. And in between, I do what I got to do when I can to provide extra content, and I do it for you guys. But to help make the channel grow, if you can hit that like button, because that helps with the video and the channel trend, and get exposed to a bigger audience, and we can have a live pop-in chat. Oh shit! Oh, my man Tony Polanco, yo, what's going on? So let me shout out the chat. I really, just to show my bit of appreciation to you guys. Up in here, Marcus Moore, Wendingo, what's up? Jacob Shabazz, what's up? Terry Henderson, Lincoln Clay, my boy. Yo, John Tuca Game was good. Warlock God. Let's see what's going on. My man Warlock God. He said, with all due respect, I ain't paying $500 for no goddamn graphics card and nothing else. Miguel Rivera, Joey Salas, what's up? Who else good? Lionel B, of course, longtime supporter. Luke's Blade. My man out in the UK hurting. Beta A, call me Jay. Dark Link. Ryan, what's up? CSC Slim Productions. AC, who else got? Dark Link, I think I said already. Miguel Rivera, what's going on? What else was going on? Of course, Vic Rose, or is it Rose? All right. What's going down? The Coon 1985. What's going on? What's up? Thank you for stopping by. Of course, J Dub, podcast member. Jemiah Dixon was good. Also a long time viewer. Thank you so much. Angel, what's up? Danny Stab, what's popping? Andre 6K. Oh, my man's ahead of everybody. He gaming in 6K. He ain't trying to hear no 4K. Tony Polanco, what's going on? My man hosts The Throwdown. Check his podcast up. What else we got? Call me Jay. Of course, Rome Rush. You know what I'm saying? My man out here. Big Daddy. What's good, brother? Iron Fist. What's up? Royal Zano. Or is it Zano? Manny Loco. Ike. All right. So thank you so much for rocking out with me. And I'm pretty sure everybody likes the title. PS5 versus Xbox Series X versus NVIDIA, and how fanboys are misleading the conversation with that. All right. So again, hit the like button, retweet this out. Let me start this out by showing a little bit of, because I'm a visual guy. So let's get the visual out. And we'll start that off right there. RTX 3070. Of course, there's also the 3080 and 3090. But this card, I think, is probably the most impactful in the conversation because of its price, $499. Of course, 3080, phenomenal, great price. I think it's $799. And I think the 3090, I'm sorry, is $1499, which is the most expensive. But that's supposed to be like the rebranded Titan, right? But I think out of all the cards, the most impactful for the conversation is this card right here, right? This card is the most impactful. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying it's even the most bang for your buck. I'm not saying that. But because you got a card that is higher performance, has better performance, provides better performance than the 2080 Ti, which is over $1,000. I think now it's dropping to like $599 because people are trying to dump it in the used market. But in reality, that card was a very expensive card. But yet this card right here, for $499, and you get superior 2080, you get superior performance over the 2080 Ti, which is something that nobody expected, right? Nobody expected that pricing. I think we all can say we all expected NVIDIA cards to be in the 1,000 range. Maybe the low end, like the 3070, would have been like the $799, $899 card, right? That was everybody's expectation. And then once you get into the 3080, you hit the 1,000 point, and you get into the 3090, you're breaking almost 2,000. And then next year, the 3080 Ti, that was normal. And believe it or not, people expected that, and people would have not had a problem with that because that's what NVIDIA usually does, right? But NVIDIA flipped the script and really changed the game on performance to power ratio, and everybody's going wild, especially with the 3070 only being $499, which is equivalent to what the consoles comes out, right? So let's get some obvious facts. Obviously, that is just the cost of the GPU, while the console is a more complete kit. You'll get the GPU, you get the CPU, you get the RAM, you get the motherboard, you get the soundboard and audio and whatever, all pre-built, put together, right? With the cooling and the power supply, put that together, right? In one box. And along with that box, you'll most likely get one controller and the appropriate HDMI cables and maybe even an Ethernet cord, Cat 5e or Cat 5.6, or Cat 6, Cat 6 or Cat 5e, and all of that put pre-built, boxed up with some type of warranty, maybe a year, maybe 90 days, boom. That's it, right? With the software already loaded, the OS already loaded, and all you gotta do is just a few things. A quick plug-in, you plug in the HDMI cord, the power cord, and of course it comes with power cord. Plug in the Ethernet, power it on. It'll ask you for your username. You plug in your PSN ID or the Xbox, and boom, you're gaming, you're going. Maybe load up some, re-download games digitally from what you own. If you have physical discs, physical disc, you put it in, and then updates. Man, I'm really gonna pay for that one. God, man, this shit sucks. But you put it in, get updates. If it's enhanced, it's enhanced. That's it. End of the day, right? The chat's already done. Man, and you know what? Man, fuck this podcast. I'm out. I'm going to make my steak. Now, anyway. So, excuse my language. So, anyway. So, that's normally it. All right? And that's the easy conversation. That's the easy way to listen. It ain't hard. It is not easy doing this shit live. All right? This shit ain't easy. I'm looking like Joe Biden up in this motherfucker. Anyway. And that's really it, right? So, because of that scenario, a lot of people, it says it's not fair to compare the two, right? Because of, you know, a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X will be $499, maybe $599 at the worst case scenario. But it's all boxed in, put together as a pre-built. If you try to do the same thing with the PC, it'll be much more expensive if you buy a pre-built. And if you do it on your own, yeah, you can get it cheaper, but it'll still be over $599, $499 because you're doing a lot of stuff, right? So, if you just look at it that way, the conversation doesn't make sense, right? Let me present to you a different way to look at it, okay? If you want to talk about consoles are cheaper, then you're really talking about the demographic that waits to buy these consoles, right? They wait. They wait 2-3 years for a price drop, maybe $300 on Black Friday. And depending if you wait longer, you could get as cheap as $250, $200 on Black Friday. With a $50 Target card, $50 Best Buy card, right? And you waited so long to get this product, 3-4 years, that all the games that came out, by the time you get to play them, they're no longer $60, $70. They're around $15, $20. So you get a whole backlog of games that you haven't played because you didn't own the console for 4 or 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. And the games are now $20, $15. So yes, in that scenario, it's cheaper, right? Shout out in the super chat, Sleepy Lights. Nintendo out here with no F's given, only 6 months. No F's given, only 6 months. Only 6 months for what? Nintendo out here with no F's given, only... Oh, talking about the game, that Super Mario game. You got 6 months to buy the game, and they're not selling it no more. Yeah, that's pretty weird. Pretty weird. It's pretty weird to do... It's pretty weird for a first-party company to do limited run games. Manny Loco saying, what am I getting? I'm getting the 3070. I'm going to start out with that one. So, in that scenario, you're good. But what about the day one gamer, the day one adopter, that is going to buy these consoles day one and wants day one the very best capabilities of it, okay? I'm going to show you real quick. Give me a second. So you think I'm not bullshitting. Look at that TV. See that TV right there? That TV right there is a 55-inch Q80 QADT, right? I just bought it, right? A QADT. And then if you see that there, you see that Xbox, that dog shit Xbox taking up space doing nothing. Anyway, but that's another conversation, right? Right. But as you can see, I bought a Q80 TV. It came in like 2 weeks ago. I was able to get it on a great deal. And the reason why I have it now is because I was able to get it from the military exchange. You know, people after doing the military, we have access to, you know, we have our own store that's tax-free. They had it on sale. They were selling it for $1,000. I had a $50 gift card that I can only use at the exchange. So I used that. Free delivery. And then obviously no tax. Great deal. Absolutely great deal. Right? Has does free sync. You know, obviously HDMI 2.1. You know, auto latency mode. The whole shebang. Right? I bought this TV. This 4K TV. Right? Specifically, Terry Henderson AFES. Yep, you got it. I bought this TV specifically. When you think about it, I spent $1,000 on a freaking HDMI port. Right? Because I got a 4K TV 75-inch in the living room. Right? Or I could have bought another 4K TV. Because there's 4K TVs out there you could get for like $500. But I needed a TV that took advantage of the PlayStation 5 and its capabilities, and it has to be HDMI 2.1 compliant. So if you're a day one console gamer, you're probably doing the same thing as what I did. Most of you, a lot of you are buying the LG CX, or if you can find the C9, right? For the same reason, and because you want OLED. A CX costs around $1,400. You might be able to get it for $1,200 if you wait for some type of deal. Some people spent more. But if you're a day one gamer, you're buying these TVs because ultimately, right, you're buying it because of a port, right? Because some of you already have 4K TVs. When PlayStation 4 Pro came out in 2016 and started pushing 4K, even if it's checkerboarding, you went and bought a 4K TV. And if you bought an Xbox One X Or even the Xbox One S, right? Because I was doing upscale 4K. Some of you went and bought a 4K at that time to accommodate those TV. Now those 4K TVs that you have, technically, yes, you can still use them for the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation, and the Xbox Series X, but they do not provide the full capabilities. So if you're bragging about, 120 frames at 4K or things like that, or FreeSync capability, you don't have that. Your current 4K TVs that you bought 2 years ago, you're still using, they don't do that. So you're not going to get the full capabilities of being a day one adopter. So guess what you're going to do? You're getting these TVs, right? So right off the bat, let's be honest, I'm already $1,000 deep into next gen, and I don't even own the goddamn console. I don't own a PS5. I got nothing PlayStation 5. I got nothing next gen in my house, but I'm already invested $1,000 deep into the ecosystem, into preparing for next gen, and I don't even have the console yet. And keep in mind, I have an advantage because I bought mine on the military exchange where I pay no tax, so that's a cheaper price there. I got a deal for this TV for $1,000. A lot of you won't be able to get this TV for $1,000, and those of you going for the LG OLED, CX, you're gonna be paying more than what I paid, and you may not. In that TV, you're definitely not gonna see that TV for $1,000. Maybe $1,200 if you're lucky. If you're lucky. All right? So right off the bat, we're dropping $1,000 just for HDMI 2.1 compliancy. Think about it. For a goddamn port, we're paying a G, right? Cheaper price savings doesn't apply to us, day one adopters on a console. We're going to spend big money. Spend big money, right? So now I got a $1,000 TV. Now I'm going to buy a PS5 when it comes out. Hopefully it's around $499. If it's $599, I'm still going to buy it, right? Because I want the disc-based version. So at a minimum, $500. So I'm already at $1,500 deep. Then I'm going to buy a new controller, right? Because I'm going to have 2 controllers for it, right? And that controller is probably going to be like $70 given to take, right? Now, keep in mind, none of these prices that I'm getting is going to include tax for me because I'm doing this through the military exchange. You guys got to pay tax, so it's going to be a little bit more. Ultimately, you're going to drop at least $1,500 for these next generation consoles, right? And then never mind the reoccurring subscription plan that if you want the full entertainment value of your console, you have to subscribe to a specific subscription plan. For PlayStation, you got to be a PSN Plus member. You have to. A lot of games have multiplayer capabilities and stuff like that. Sadly, on PlayStation, cloud storage, all that other stuff, you're going to be paying $60 a year, right, for PSN Plus. If you're smart and you can get a deal and you take advantage of those deals of $45, like what I have, I pay $45, but I buy it 3 or 4 times because it stacks. But at the end of the day, I'm playing for online. PC, you don't have that worry. If you're on Xbox, the situation is even worse because Microsoft took away their annual $60 Xbox Live Gold. So for all of you that can find those $60 cards for gold, buy them out now because they're going to run out and you're not going to see them no more. So if you see $60 gold card on Amazon, even if it's $65, because some of them you're starting to see Xbox Live Gold cards being sold for $68, $69, it's for a reason. Because those cards will be rare, and Microsoft's not producing any more $60 annual gold cards, right? Those things are going away, and when they run out, you're done. The only gold subscription you're going to have is the monthly, which is $10 a month, which equals $120 a year. Or I think they have the $25 every 3 months, which equals $100 a year. So the cheapest gold you're going to get is $100 a year. And you do that over the course of 5 years, you just spend $500 just to play a game online. Just to play Call of Duty online. Just to play Halo online. That's it, right? So you spend $1,000 for 2.1 HDMI, right? Then you spend $500 for the console, and then $500 just to make sure the console can play a game online. That's $2,000 over the course of a generation. We're going to spend money. It's not cheap. It's only cheap if you're not a day one adopter. Right? You want console gaming to be cheap? Don't buy the Xbox Series X this November. Don't buy the PlayStation Buy. Buy it in 2024, 2025. Keep on your PlayStation 4. Play on your Nintendo Switch. Play on your Xbox One. When 2024, 2025 comes out, those consoles will be a lot cheaper. The games will be a lot cheaper. You ain't spending all that big bucks. Hell, HDMI 2.1 compliant TVs will probably be 2.5 compliant by that time. That means the 2.1 are going to be like $300 by that point. Because it's going to be so outdated in 2024, 2025. So the $1,000 TV I bought recently will probably be $300, right? In 4 or 5 years. So wait till 2025. And that's when you could say gaming is cheap. But if you're going to do it this November and you want the full capabilities this November, you're spending money. You're going to spend your thousands of dollars, right? So with that said, when you compare experience of being a gamer, day one on console, and all the things you need to do to get the full experience of that console versus PC, they're not that far off. You're talking maybe a minuscule difference of maybe $300 to $400, minuscule difference. You know what I'm saying? You're not talking about big savings, right? You're just simply not. Sure, you could say, well, you know, PlayStation, Xbox only $499, but what you have to do to get the most out of that PlayStation and Xbox, you're going to invest just as much money, maybe even more. Right? It's not that far off now. And it's not that far off because, again, NVIDIA changed the game. If this car, this 3070, was $799, then we will have more of a valid point. Because the starting point is now $800. And then if you're going for the 3080 and it would have been like $1,500, now whatever. But at $499 and you're getting superior performance over a 2080 Ti, this changed the game of how cheap consoles are compared to PC. And especially with the fact that Sony and Microsoft put technology, right, that's far ahead of the current 4K TVs most people own. You can still play on a 4K TV, but there is a lot of things you're not going to truly get out of your PlayStation or Xbox Series console unless you have that HDMI 2.1. You got to have it. FreeSync, VRS, all that nonsense, right? If you want your money's worth out of your PlayStation 5, out of your Xbox Series X, you got to get the right TV to do it. You don't get the right TV to do it, you're not getting the full shebang out of it, right? That's just how it is. That's just the reality, okay? So with that said, we're going to go on to my little crap talking, but it does have a little bit of merit. And it's with this comment right here. I made this comment replying to my boy K-Mega. Shout out to K-Mega. God bless him and his family. I put, there is no narrative. It's just fact. When I get a 3070, I will run Halo Infinite better than his Xbox Series X. Better than any of y'all's Xbox Series X. Day one. That's a fact. You could say that's a trash talking point. You could say that's a console war point. You could say I'm talking trash. You could say whatever. You could mock me, make fun of me. But the merit of the statement is true. A 3070 will play Xbox Series X games that come out day one on both platforms. It will be better on 3070. Yet, with that same video card, with that same PC that I'm going to own, right? That PC will not run Miles Morales or Demon's Souls Remake better day one because it's not there. It just simply doesn't exist on PC. Okay? So why am I driving that point home? That point is the very essence on why everybody, okay, PC gamers, PlayStation gamers, right, even Xbox gamers are going at Xbox with the announcement of the 3070 with $499 and not PlayStation 5. Because that's the biggest point the Xbox fanboys are making. Why is nobody talking about PlayStation 5? PlayStation 5 is the weakest out of everybody. So if 3070 makes Xbox Series X look bad, imagine the PS5. It's because everybody realizes that no matter how weak the PS5 is, and no matter how strong the 3070 is, the 3070, the 3080, the 3090 cannot play games that doesn't exist on the platform. If they didn't make it for the platform, then the power is irrelevant. Right? Because the performance measure is 0K at 0 frames. Because it's simply not there. It's just not there. So the performance comparison between the PC and the PS5, unless you're strictly talking multiplats, right? But everybody knows PC runs multiplats better than the PS5, than the PS4. That's nothing new. That's pretty common. But when you're talking about games that doesn't exist on PC and you can only play on a PS5, then there's no conversation to be had. When Miles Morales comes out, there's only one group of gamers that's going to play the game. When Demon's Souls Remake comes out. When Horizon Forbidden West comes out. when Ratchet and Clank comes out, when Gran Turismo 7 comes out. When these games comes out, no one's in the conversation of who's playing them other than one group, and that's the PlayStation 5 owners. Not even PlayStation 4 owners. They can't even be part of the conversation. So you can't even say anymore the general PlayStation gamer. You have to be a PS5 gamer. You don't have a PS5, you're not playing these games. So even PlayStation Nation, that's sticking with PS4 for the first 2, 3, 4 years, whatever, they're not playing these games either, right? So that's why a lot of the heat on the 3070 versus a console is more towards the Xbox Series X and not the PS5. So when you have every single game on Xbox Series X playable day one on this 3070, people are going to look now, right? Even Xbox gamers, my man out there, Max B, the greenies, right? I'm not going to call these guys greenies because these Xbox gamers, you know, they're not really fanboys, whatever. They sit back and they're realizing I could get an Xbox Series X for $500, right? But the TV I need to invest to enjoy the Xbox Series X is going to cost me at least $1,000 to $100, right? And then they're raising the price of Xbox Live Gold by removing $60, which means if I'm going to pay $100, $120 for gold, I might as well just get Game Pass Ultimate. But Game Pass Ultimate is $180 a year. And over the course of 5 years, that's $900. It's going to be expensive either way. It's going to be expensive. You're going to spend a lot of money in gaming. It's just no way around it. If you're a hardcore gamer and you get these platforms day one. So a lot of gamers are now looking at, who didn't really look at PC before because of how expensive PC was when you're talking about the cheapest card for next generation being $800. That $499, that hit different. Yo, you hit different, right? So now you think if I'm gonna spend all this money anyway, fine. I might just invest on PC. You're not gonna miss out on the games. You're not even gonna miss out on Game Pass, right? Because PC has Game Pass and it's actually cheaper. They have a nice cheap version of a low costing price for Game Pass. You don't have to get Game Pass Ultimate because you don't really need it, right? Because online gaming is free anyway on PC. All you need is the basic version of Game Pass if you still want to use that service. Steam dominates it. Epic Game Store gives you free games. Most of the time the games are cheaper on PC. It's just an all-round product, right? So when you look at Xbox Series X and PC, they are identical in library, right? In one direction, not in the other direction. In one direction, when you look at Xbox Series X library in total versus PC library in total, they're identical. But when you look at PC's library, right, and then look at Xbox Series X, they're not identical. Because PC has advantages over the Xbox Series X when it comes to game content, right? Xbox Series X has no advantage because all the games are on PC and they're day one. So there is no advantage. But for PC, PC has the advantage, which you already seen. We all already seen it. One, Microsoft has already shown to put games first on PC with no blowback from the Xbox community. They did nothing to put that in check. So they gave Microsoft the green light to continue, if Microsoft chooses, to put games first on PC or to just put games on PC at all and never come to Xbox. They already gave them the green light and permission to do that, so Microsoft's going to run with that, right? PC gets exclusives that never go to Xbox Series X. PC got multiplats in conjunction with PS5. So them joint games that are PS5 PC only, right? They're multiplats, right? But PC gamers don't have to worry about it being on PS5 only because they get the game anyway. That's an advantage over Xbox Series X, and PC got VR. When you look at all those advantages just from a gaming aspect, I'm not even going to talk about podcasting, content creation, and all that other stuff that PC does because that's just not fair now. Now we're just beating, now we're just taking candy from a baby. We're bending a baby over and spanking it on the butt at this point. I'm trying to make this into a boxing match, not into child abuse, where you're going to call child services. I'm trying to be fair here. I'm just keeping it gaming. I'm not going to bring anything else up on what PC does advantage-wise. Just gaming. That's it, right? And on that end, you see how much more PC does over consoles in general. But in particular, The moment Microsoft made that decision to put every one of their games, first-party games, on PC day one, PC ended up gaining the advantage over Xbox Series X. Got all the same games, plus its own games, plus PS5 PC share games, plus VR. And now you're talking about a monetary difference. Let's say if the difference between building a PC and building a complete Xbox Series X experience, let's say it's a $500 difference. Let's say it's still $500 more. But that $500, you'll get exclusives. You'll get them joint PS5 PC only titles. You'll get the ability to play VR, free online over the course of the generation, free games from Epic Game Store, which gave out some good games, free games from Steam, Humble Bundles. It's a whole lot of stuff when directly compared. Now, when you compare from PC to PS5, PC has advantages over the PS5. Again, better performance, obviously, right? Xbox, PC, joint-only titles, PC titles, MS First Party, right? Epic Game Store, Steam. Has all those advantages. But the one thing PC doesn't have is those day one PS5 games, right? And if PS5 games were trash, that would not be a big deal, right? But even PC gamers know that Sony, their first party, has producing some of the most amazing titles, right, this generation, right? So a lot of PC gamers, right, will buy a PlayStation 5 because they have no problem being a multi-platform gamer. They have no problem owning two platforms, right? A lot of PC gamers played Ghost of Tsushima and it was 30 FPS because it's a great game. Same thing with The Last of Us 2. Same thing with God of War. They had no issue. Sure, they're going to complain. They're going to wish they could do it because they wish. But at the end of the day, a lot of PC gamers are still gamers. Many of them hardcore gamers. And they will play on the console they need to play if they want to play that game they want. They have no issues with that. PC gamers, many of them are multi-platform games. Hell, many of them play on the Switch. And that is the weakest platform out of all of them. But they go crazy over a brand new Switch game, which looks miserable, right? When it comes to standards and graphics. But at the end of the day, Nintendo exclusives are great. They're fun to play. They make quality exclusives. And if the only way you can play them on this little bitty mobile Switch thing, then you got to do what you got to do. And they do it. And that right there is the truth of the conversation, right? But because of this statement, let me show you how silly these dudes get. I got to deal with this nonsense. Look at this dude, my man Liberal Gamer. Okay, P-Rock, I see you feeling confident. You made some silly wager yesterday that really was a BS bet. Let me hit on that point. What he's talking about is, on the multiplayer podcast on Thursday, right? My man Post Up, shout out to Post Up Triple B. He started live streaming now on his channel. He came up to me talking about, Sony's investor meeting saying they're looking to put first party. You said they never gonna do that. You said they're gonna be 13 million. Of course, there's context to the conversation because when we first had these conversations, we had these conversations 2-3 years ago, and we weren't talking about PS5. We weren't talking about the PS5 gen. I'm talking about PS4 gen and selling PS4 in that current time frame. I'm like, Sony's not gonna put their games day one when they're trying to sell PS4 consoles. Now that we're past this generation and it's all about the PS5. PS4 game is not going to have a significant impact on the PS5 sales or pushing PS5. It's all about the PS5 games, right? And because of that statement, I challenged him. I told him, I'll bet you $60 that 2 years after Miles Morales drop, you still won't see that game natively on PC. 2 years. I gave him 2 years. Not day and day, not 1 year, 2 years. If Sony's seriously about supporting PC, I think 2 years is more than fair enough, right, to see these games on PC. Especially if there's this supposed huge pot of gold money like Lucky Charms. Oh, me go lad, right? If there's this huge astronomical amount of wealth, Sony's going to put their games on PC in at least 2 years, right? So from the day Miles Morales launch, 2 years from that time frame. If it ends up on PC natively, not PS Now, natively, like Steam, Epic Game Store, whatever, no different than Horizon Zero Dawn, he wins $60. And he gets bragging rights, gets to talk shit. But if it's not there within 2 years, he owes me $60, right? That's the bet, right? So that's the first column Liberal Game is addressing. So now he wants to do his own bet. Here is a real bet. PS5, before the end of this generation, will have their first-party exclusives available day one on PC. No caveats about. Okay? Now let me tell you why that's such a dumb bet. All right? Let me explain how dumb that bet is. Look at the time frame. The time frame he put was before the end of this generation. So technically, if I take this bet, right, and PlayStation 6 gets announced to release in November 2027, because it's a 7-year time span, right? If you look at the last two generations, 360 PS3 gen was technically 8 years, because the Xbox 360 came out in 2005. So from 2005 to 2013, that's actually 8 years, right? But I'm going to say 7 because of PS3 and the Wii. Then, for this generation, it started in 2013, right? I'm not even going to count the Wii U, which came out in 2012. I'm not even going to count that. I'm going to count the PlayStation 3 and 360, which came out in 2013, to now November, which we project the console's going to come out. That's another 7 years. So this dude has a whole 7 years for Sony to say, hey, we're going to put our games on PC. So that means that on August 2027, Sony decides, hey, we're putting our games on PC. So for almost 7 years, I will be talking trash to these Xbox and fanboys. You know, I'm going to get in it on these console wars from 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, January, February, March, April, May, June, July of 2027. I'm going to talk trash on exclusives and how, because of exclusives, PlayStation 5 is selling better than Xbox Series X. More gamers are playing on PlayStation 5. The exclusives are dope. The exclusives are selling. I'm going to talk shit all this time. Right? But then in July, hell, on my birthday, July 22nd, 2027, Sony makes an announcement. These dudes are going to come back. Ha! We told you. Are you out your goddamn mind? Shut the fuck up. Especially around that point, we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 6. And what's funny, the PlayStation 6 will have PlayStation 6 games that will be exclusive to PlayStation 6. It would be a moot point in 2027. Are you retarded? How dumb is that bet? Ha! We told you PlayStation 5 will be on PC, and we're talking about the goddamn PlayStation 6, which is going to come out in November 2027, and they announced PlayStation 6 games, which once again are exclusive to the PlayStation 6. How stupid are these dudes? Yo, it's just nonsense. Like, I can't with these dudes. If these dudes are all about saying, now Sony sees the money, there's big money doing this. That's why Microsoft did it. There's huge money in this. You think Sony's gonna wait 7 goddamn years to make the decision to put their games on PC? If there's really big money, 2 years is more than enough to take advantage of big money. If Sony lets big money slide all the way to 2027, it's too goddamn late. If they let PS5 exclusives linger as exclusives in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, it's a moot point in 2027. There's no even reason they think I'm going to still talk about this shit in 2027 with PS5? Oh my God, these Xbox dudes are bugging, man. Yo, this shit is crazy. Right? Here's the reality. Especially if you're talking in a podcast or crumb site, whatever, this whole decision of day and date is more about the reflection of the product than it is about the money of the company. Because from the rumors and the conversation of Horizon Zero Dawn, it only sold around 200,000 units on PC. That's not a lot of money to decide to make a decision based on an entire ecosystem. Now, 200,000 sales on PC for a game that came out 3 years ago and they sold it to PC gamers for $50, okay, that's cool. That's extra chump change. That's extra couch money that's free, right? Because that game on the PlayStation is only like $10, $15, right? And it's not selling 200K over a month time span because it's been out for 3 years on PlayStation, right? It's not a lot of sales on the PlayStation console at this point 3 years later. It's $15 or so. But on PC, you get 200,000 sales, 300, hell, even 400,000 sales at $50? That's a decent change for an old game. So I can see Sony putting more older games for $50, and they'll get their 300, 400,000 change. I get that. But that's not a decision, right, to change your complete outlook of what made you the most successful for your brand. That doesn't make sense at all. Especially when Sony created a unique console that's not a very good console for multi-platform gaming. It really isn't, right? It's not. If they were going to do that, then they should have made a generic PS5 with a powerful CPU, a powerful GPU, good RAM, basic architecture, right? Still use SSD, but not go deep into this I/O architecture and this SSD integration to where a common PC doesn't even have yet. They went too much. If they're going to do multi-platform strategy, the console's too much for that. It's just not right. It's not built right. They should have built the console smarter if that's what they're going to do. Because all they're going to do is, right, if they do a multi-platform strategy, they're going to ask us console gamers out, right? For the people that bought PS5, we're going to get asked out because they're not going to take full advantage of the PS5 because they have to cater to another architecture that's not the same. So first party not take full advantage of their own first party console, it just doesn't make sense. That's why I don't believe they're going to do this up front. Right? That's just my belief, right? So 2 years is more than enough. And I'm saying from the day the game launches. I'm not saying from right now. When the game launches, whenever the game launches, and in particular with Post-Up is Miles Morales, that specific game, Miles Morales comes out, whatever date, you count 2 years after that date, that's the time limit. 2 years is more than enough if these dudes truly believe that there's big money in PC gaming. Sony is not going to wait 5-6 years to make this decision, because then they missed out on a whole generation of gaming and a whole generation of making money, if that's the logic. But this is what I gotta deal with. This is the conversations I gotta have with people on podcasts and have social media influence and all that nonsense. This is the trash I gotta deal with. Like, stop it, right? We gotta have the real honest conversation. Listen, a lot of this stuff is not even us. A lot of us is just talking. You know, those of us that have podcasts, those of us that are in industry, reviewers, whatever, it's just conversation of a reflection of what's going on, right? But the reality is the reality. Microsoft created this scenario where now you have alternate options to play their games day one. You don't have to wait. Sony created a scenario where their PlayStation 5, right, you need it to play the games, and they're focusing their developers to make the games and make the very best games on that platform. Nintendo's doing the same exact thing. And what's funny is Nintendo does it. No one says a damn thing. No one says anything. No one is pushing Nintendo to put their games on PC. Nobody. No one. Not even their old games. Like this remake of Super Mario 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy, not only is it exclusive to the Switch, it's only going to be around for 6 months. And everybody on Switch is cool with it. No problem. It's not even a remake. It's the same assets. And nobody's crying to put this game on PC so they can have it in native 4K, ray tracing, all that stuff. Nobody. Nobody's crying on lack of ray tracing for Nintendo games. Not an issue. It's perfectly fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's great. It's perfectly fine. Nintendo could go back to 720p gaming and it'll be perfectly fine. Hell, they could go back to SD gaming and people say, hey, Nintendo's just trying to bring back the old school feeling we used to love about gaming. That's why the games are 480i. It's brilliant. Nintendo creating a 2025 Switch that's 480i, absolutely brilliant. Because those were the best times in gaming when we played in 4080i. Hell, it doesn't even have an HDMI port. It has the old school port where you have to screw and you have those two little hooks. You have to screw it on. Nintendo brought that back. Even though you don't have a goddamn TV to do that, but it's amazing. It's a great concept because part of gaming back in the day was unscrewing the UHF thing. Amazing. Nintendo's brilliant. They're bringing back the classic feeling that we all love. Thank you, Nintendo. Only they could get away with that shit. Only they can do that. They're gonna be the same. They're the only ones that could possibly do that, and everybody will love them for it, right? In fact, hopefully they'll bring cartridges where you have to blow in it to make it work. My God, or you take Q-tips and put some alcohol around it and put it in the freezer. If Nintendo can do that, my God, those were the best times in gaming. We loved it. Hell, don't even have memory saves, right? You have to beat the game and leave the system on, because if you reset or stop it, you got to start all over from the beginning. No saves. Nintendo, remove the saves. We don't need to save games no more. Brilliant. We love it. Love it. We will love you for it. Do it. Right? Like, come on, man. Let's have the real conversations on this, right? Let's have real conversations about this, right? Of course, we could crumb side, we could talk trash, but the merit of conversation has to be facts. It has to be truthful. It has to be reality, right? Sure, Sony made in the investor statement they will look into first-party games. I am not gonna base a decision this November on what platforms I'm gonna buy, what consoles I'm gonna get, this, that, or another, on an investors meeting, and then possibly looking into stuff. The reality is, PlayStation 5, they announced exclusives. They announced they're only for PlayStation 5. That means the developers are focusing on it. Microsoft been done decided to put the games they want on PC. Microsoft been done decided to put some of their games on PC first. And NVidia announced that they're going to provide video cards, GPUs, at an amazing performance, at an amazing low price. That's it. That's the reality. That's what we're working with. That's what we're dealing, right? And also one more thing, with these next generation consoles, you're going to need HDMI 2.1 to take full advantage of what these consoles have to offer. That's it. That's the reality. That's the world we live in. You decide what you want to decide on what you want to play on. You make the best decision for yourself based on reality of the information. The information, the factual information of what you can do in gaming and what you need to get to enjoy gaming at its best, within the budget you want, is all there. And buy whatever you want. Okay? I'm not telling anyone what they need to buy. You buy what you want. It's your money. You earn it. Freaking buy that in television, whatever nonsense that came out, which I didn't even know in television was creating something. But if that's what you want to buy, then buy that. That's your business. I'm not here to dictate what you need to do. That's not what this channel's about. All right? But what I will say is, I'm about to be out. Thank you so much for rocking out with me. Please hit the like button on your way out. Get this video to at least 100 likes. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, and I hope the conversation I had makes sense. I'm going to enjoy this long weekend. I'm going to be off. I was off today. I'm off tomorrow. I'm off Sunday, and I'm off Monday. You guys take care. Enjoy your Labor Day. Keep COVID safety in sense. Wear your mask. Take care of yourself, right? Because it's not fun when it hits your family. It is not fun at all. It's deadly. So I wish you all the best. Take care of yourself. Take care of your families. Enjoy this weekend as best you can. But keep your family and your friends safe. Keep yourself safe. Wear the damn mask. Social distancing. Wash your goddamn hands. Right? Wipe down your controllers. Right? After you know. But anyway, you guys take care. Good night. This is your boy Porter Rock 77. Your only friend in these YouTube streets. And I'm out. Peace.